Australia is home to between 200,000 and 300,000 species. There are around 250 species of native mammal, 550 species of native bird, 680 species of reptile, 190 species of native frog, and over 2,000 species of native freshwater and marine fish. This incredible diversity makes Australia's wildlife unique, fascinating, and incredibly important to conserve. However, Australia has a concerning record when it comes to species extinctions. The country has seen significant losses, with around 50% of all mammal extinctions occurring in Australia, and with an extinction rate of over 4.5 extinctions per decade. Despite this, there have been a few success stories of animals bouncing back from the threat of extinction due to human interference. Take the eastern barred bandicoot, for example. It's not a rat, it's an eastern barred bandicoot. Habitat loss and predation by feral foxes and cats had pushed the eastern barred bandicoot to the edge of extinction. By 1989, only 150 remained in an area near Hamilton, Victoria. The Victorian government assembled a recovery team, capturing 40 bandicoots to start a breeding program in Melbourne Zoo. Sadly, the species was declared extinct in the wild in Victoria soon after. In the 1990s, attempts to reintroduce captive-born bandicoots into the wild failed due to predation. All hope seemed lost until in swooped Recovery Plan. In 2001, a recovery plan was created for the eastern barred bandicoot. With the help of two more plans in 2011 and 2021, significant funding, and a pinch of dedicated effort, the numbers have increased to over 1.5 thousand individuals in the wild. So many other videos up on YouTube that you may have seen that cover similar issues, such as these. They don't really get into the meat and potatoes of the issue. I'm here to discuss the pros and cons of recovery planning in Australia and give recommendations for the future of conservation in our nation. So, recovery plans are detailed strategies designed to address threats to species and habitats, promoting their survival and recovery. They require a team of specialists to identify vulnerable species and understand their distribution, major threats, and suggest possible management actions. Additionally, these plans raise public awareness about these threatened species. So, recovery planning in Australia seems crucial for preventing extinction and protecting native species. However, recovery plans are not without their weaknesses, and their effectiveness has been a topic of debate for years in Australia and around the world. One main issue is they are expensive and time-consuming to create. Wintour et al. In 2019 discovered that Australia's government are spending around 122 million Australian dollars per year on threatened species recovery. And the sad thing is they estimate that that is only around 15% of what is actually needed to avoid extinctions and recover threatened species. And then there's the issue of, is it even worth it? Bottrell et al. In 2019 did an analysis that found the presence of recovery plan did not have a statistically significant effect on whether a species status was improving, declining, staying the same, nothing. This suggests that recovery planning may not even be useful in the short term or the long term. One of the main issues for this is that many recovery plans are not regularly reassessed due to limited funding, high complexity, and the sheer number of recovery plans there are in Australia. Over the past decade alone, 55 recovery plans have been created, each averaging around 50 to 100 pages and taking months to develop. Despite the extensive effort to create the actual plans themselves, it seems there isn't enough funds, time, or motivation to implement these plans effectively. As Professor Leslie Hughes says from Macquarie University, many recovery plans are just fantasy documents because they are not implemented. I think that they can be useful and have been shown, albeit only on occasion, that they can aid in species recovery. It all comes down to the big one, management, the actual implementation of the plan. It's all good to write 100 pages of what you want to do or what you should do or what your boss is telling you to do, but it doesn't actually do anything until you implement the plan and have proper management of that plan to ensure that something is actually done. To make these plans more effective, we need to strengthen partnerships with local communities, Indigenous groups, and other stakeholders. By fostering a more inclusive and collaborative approach to conservation, we empower those groups to take an active role in recovery efforts, leading to a more sustainable and effective outcome. Furthermore, adaptive management is the only way forward. Adaptive management is a dynamic approach to management and conservation. It involves setting measurable, attainable goals, constantly monitoring outcomes, and involves adapting the management framework on those results to ensure continued effectiveness. Implementing measurable objectives and setting goals that are both accessible and achievable allows for adjustments based on outcome. We can learn from our mistakes and constantly improve our efforts in conservation. We need regular reassessment of these plans and continued support and funding to allow this. However, achieving this, as we all know, requires money. Securing long-term financial commitments is essential for the effective implementation and monitoring of recovery plans. Without adequate funding, even the best laid plans will remain unimplemented, and the species we're trying to save will continue to be at risk. On top of that, we need to explore more cost-effective ways of recovery planning. Multi-species recovery plans, landscape recovery plans. There's multiple ways of recovery planning that can cover multiple species, multiple areas, flora and fauna. These ways could be more cost-effective than regular single-species recovery plans. There's been little research into the economics of it. And while Cullen et al.'s research in 2005 did show no financial benefit to multi-species recovery plan, that was 20 years ago and was a bit iffy. But no one's really gone into the budgeting side of it. We need continued research into finding more economical ways of conserving wildlife. Because, like it or not, the funding is so hard to get. What I've said is the way forward. And while recovery plans have had success and are essential tools in conservation, their current issues significantly reduce their effectiveness. Addressing these challenges through improved funding, better management, and enhanced community involvement is crucial for the future of species recovery in Australia.